9th of 2020. Got a little bit to talk about today, so let's roll right into it quickly on the prices. Bitcoin's at 97.20, Ethereum's at 242. Tether is leading XRP. You go Tether at $1, and XRP is just over 20 cents. Nothing else right now I want to talk about. Let's jump right to it. Okay, so the big news that hit Twitter yesterday: Ripple dropped an article on Twitter. And let me open it up. And essentially, they're open up. So this is all the talk, obviously, in the XRP community. It was all the talk on Twitter last night. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to about this today. I have talked to XRP investors, I've talked to Ripple stockholders, I've talked to bankers, I've talked to some investment bankers. I have even talked to a digital asset investor. I've talked to everyone, a lot of the people in my circle about this, and I've got an opinion on it. So, but let's talk about it. So, staying the course in remittances and SME payments, okay? I'm not going to read this to you. I'm sure you guys saw this already. Essentially, I'm going to get to the meat of it. Let's get down to it. Okay, so while the world changes around us, Ripple is staying the course. We are continuing to focus on supporting low-value, high-frequency payments with ODL through transaction volume. It says, though transaction volume may look different in this new world. Okay. In particular, we are reducing emphasis on large treasury payments, which are traditionally used to fund businesses and services in the absence of real-time transfers, to support individual low-value transactions, addressing the growing need in remittances and SME payments. This may reduce overall ODL transaction volumes. All right, so let's just first admit that when you say Ripple is staying the course and then you talk about your pivot, those are completely opposite statements, okay? So they said they were staying the course, but they weren't really staying the original course. They were changing courses. I mean, let's call it what it is. Okay, so essentially, Ripple is saying that they want to keep attacking the small to medium-sized payments as opposed to the big payments, is really what they're coming out and saying. And, the excitement of the XRP community has always been the big payments. When are we going to start doing the big payments? And we've been told even by David Schwartz that the higher price XRP makes it easier to send bigger payments, because then you have to move less XRP buying and selling it in order to send those payments. So this really hit a lot of people hard last night when they thought, wow, we're not going after the big payments. Where's the bank money? We're not going after the bank money, the big financial institutions. So there is a shift going on. Now, I will tell you this. I am 100% convinced. Now, I know that in the last hour, David Schwartz has come on Twitter to try and clarify the position. I will tell you this. I'm 100% convinced you're going to see clarification directly from Ripple, and very soon, explaining what this is and what they're talking about. So just take a deep breath. They're going to clarify this. I know it for a fact. It's going to happen. Because there's too many people that are confused and that want clarity. So I would just say let's cool our jets. Let them kind of explain what this means, and everyone's interested in what does it mean for XRP, right? So David, and let's talk a little bit about David. Jumped in the last hour or so, and he said it was always our preference to handle smaller payments directly rather than handling larger payments that are later divided into smaller ones. Some partners weren't willing to let us handle their retail payments directly until we could prove that the technology worked reliably. This goes back to Glenn Hutchins telling the digital asset investor that bankers were going to be the last ones to the party. And we know that, right? So David went on to say treasury operations were safer because customers weren't waiting for them to complete. Then he goes blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Okay, I want to get to this part. He says, I encourage people to give some thought to the relative advantages and disadvantages of a more dollar value versus more individual payments, particularly in remittance context. It's not clear cut. So what David is trying to say here is he's trying to I think he's trying to wink to the Twitter people, the XRP community, and say, this is a good thing, guys. You just don't see it yet. So I think that's what he's saying here. Here's what my take is after talking to so many people today and trying to get an understanding of what this is. And I can't wait to see a more clear response from Ripple and what they say. But here's what I think. I think that Ripple has been hunting with an elephant gun, and they haven't been delivering elephants. Okay? And I think that with them looking to IPO, they're going to have to prove to institutional investors the history of what they intended to do and their accomplishments. And if they're out there trying to sell institutional investors on the great investment that is Ripple the company, and they're still holding an elephant gun and they don't have elephants to show those institutional investors, that it's not a good pitch and it's not a good roadshow. And this is my take on it, guys. I'm not an IPO guy. I'm not an investment advisor. You know that. This is my common sense. This is what I've come up with after I've talked to tons of people and done tons of reading up on in the last, I don't know, not even 24 hours yet. So I think that they want to be able to prove more of those smaller to mid-sized payments and show the success in that when they go to IPO, so that when so that they're not selling that as the history of the success of the company. Okay, so they don't want to be selling, going after banks and not delivering as the history of the company. They want to be able to sell success as the history of the company when they IPO. And we don't know when they're going to be IPO, but a lot of people think it's this year. I don't know. I really don't know. So this is where I'm at. Right now, I think that's the case. I think this all has to do with prepping for the IPO. I am not wavering one bit. I'm good. I'm good. I'm very, very good. I'm not worried. I'm not wavering. I'm not concerned. Now, when it first came out yesterday, I had questions, and I still have questions, and I'm still looking for clarity. But this is my take on it. So I hope that my explanation of my take on it is clear enough. I didn't really prepare for this video. It's late in the day, and I knew I had to get something out to talk about it with you guys. I've been incredibly busy at work, and I know I'm not giving you a lot of videos, and I apologize for that, but I just can't. I can only do them when I can do them, and this is it. So let's wait and get some clarity from Ripple. David is a fantastic resource on Twitter, but sometimes the way he speaks, it causes more questions than answers. And I think that a Ripple drop is what I asked this morning from Ashish Burla. First thing this morning, I asked him if they could please give us a Ripple drop explaining this. And I saw someone else ask for a Ripple drop, and he responded and said that they were talking about it. So I think we're going to see something quickly about it. Anyway, don't want to beat a dead horse. That's that. Moving on. Okay. Leonidas posted this on Twitter the other day. I'm sure you already heard it. And Naveen Gupta had said in the video that Ripple had 350 customers, so he kind of let the cat out of the bag, which was fantastic. So it was great to hear that there was a rise in customers, and this was before we got the news of the shift, but it was good news, and I'm glad to hear it, and it's good stuff. So he's one of my favorite people. I love hearing him speak, and I'll tell you what. I would love to talk to him. I would love to be in an interview with him. I would love to it's so impressive. This guy is amazing, and he's a super bull on XRP for sure. All right, Michael at VAL5 Link posted this the other day. Ripple chief Brad Garlinghouse meets with central bank leaders in Brazil. So I originally thought that this was a Zoom meeting. It looks like he actually flew to Brazil. So Brad, who's probably been in his bunker for 2 months because of the current event, actually flew to Brazil to talk to the central bank. I have no idea what about. I mean, obviously it was important enough for him to fly out to Brazil, so something big was happening in Brazil. But what I find more interesting, and I'm like the digital asset investor, I don't really believe in coincidences. I'm too old for that. What I don't get is why, when Brad is flying to Brazil, and that was here, that was June 3rd. Why at the same time is Western Union launching an advertising campaign? Western Union is offering 0 transfer fee when sending money directly to bank accounts in Brazil. I find it incredibly coincidental that while Brad Garlinghouse is going to take meetings with the central bank in Brazil, that Western Union is offering free transfers. I don't know. There may be nothing to it. I find it odd. I find it interesting. Now we know that we're seeing smoke. People are talking about Western Union is buying MoneyGram, and sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. So is that taking place? We don't know. But I will tell you this, and I don't have it pulled up. I went back and looked at Alex Holmes, the CEO of MoneyGram, and he was a tweeter. His last tweet was February 11th. He hasn't tweeted a word since February 11th. I find that suspicious, and I'm not I find that odd. So he hasn't said anything since February 11th. I think something's going on. Whether Western Union is trying to buy MoneyGram, whether Ripple will come in and block that and buy them out, whether Western Union buying MoneyGram is good for Ripple, I don't know. I just don't know. I have a feeling it's coming. Something is coming. There's something going down, and we're going to find out. And it might not be bad. It might be good. I mean, Western Union is more of the payments that Ripple is telling us now they want to go after, so it would make sense. And maybe, I'm just speculating, but maybe there's a deal being done with MoneyGram, with Western Union, I'm sorry, and that's why Ripple made that announcement. And while we're talking, MoneyGram stock was up almost to $4 today. It's now at $3.73. It hasn't closed yet, I don't think, but it's at $3.73. MoneyGram stock is going nuts. So the inside people know what's happening. Something's going on. Let's keep our eyes on this, guys. Okay. All right, last thing is, I saw Costa Rica Kelly, and she's on Twitter at SladeECrypto, or Slade Crypto, at Slade Crypto. She posted this: the Ripple and XRP FUD in overdrive, in it for the long haul. And Kelly, Kelly, I'm in it for the long haul too. What I loved about this is that this is a picture that I made for the digital asset investor before I ever met him. So I thought that was awesome that it was getting recirculated. Anyway, I'm done for today. Guys, get in the comments. Let me know what you think is going on with Ripple, and if you think something is going on with Western Union and MoneyGram. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I'm not shaken, and I'm not a crypto expert. These are my opinions only. Don't make any financial decisions based on anything I say. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Please like and subscribe and hit the notifications button, and share with anybody who you think might do the same, and have a great day.